right. I hope everyone's having a nice day. Right now, it is in the high 80s where I'm at, and yeah, I'm definitely staying in the AC. But somebody sent me this article, and it's from People Magazine. Well, this article is from June 1st, so several other outlets have also reported on it. But the headline, they were like, "Hey man, I know you talked Tyler Perry." It was actually a friend of mine. From college. He was like, "Hey man, I saw this article. I thought you might want to read it." Tyler Perry says he spoke to George Floyd's immediate family, saying that they want peaceful protests. And I'm like, I think I heard about something along those lines in another article or video. Not necessarily Tyler Perry reiterating what George Floyd's family said, but I think George Floyd's family said this. Was it at the the funeral the other day? But in any case, Tyler Perry shared an Instagram message in which he said George Floyd's immediate family were adamant in their call for peaceful protest. As always, guys, when it comes to me breaking down articles, I'm going to leave a link to this article in the top comment and pin it to the top. That way you all have access to it. And I'll also see if I can just go ahead and put a link to this article in the community tab on the YouTube channel. But this is a very well thought post Tyler Perry posted. I actually just read it, and I'll read some of it because it is rather long, but it's really, really good. I spent the past few days with an extremely heavy heart, having very high level conversations with people who don't look like me, people who may not believe what I believe, people who don't know what it's like to be black in America, but were willing to listen. White people who are Republicans and Democrats with different opinions, different views, different ideas and strategies on how to stop this. White people with the power to have this go either way. I also spoke to George Floyd's immediate family and tried to speak comfort in this moment. I have to tell you, they are adamant in their call for peaceful protest. I want you to know that while some of us are protesting out there, others of us have the gift of being able to pick up the phone and go straight to the people who have the power with the stroke of a pen to affect change. That's a powerful statement. And it takes all of us black people to do our part. Think about this, please. We're only 12 to 14% of the U.S. population. With a number like that, we need allies that don't look like us. Allies who are not in the 12 to 14%, but want to be in that number, want to be in the number that help us. And you got to know that I wasn't the only one doing this. There are a lot of high profile black people, Oprah, Jay-Z, Diddy, athletes, politicians, business leaders, preachers, community leaders, and on, who are doing the same thing I was doing to help us all. There are a lot of white people that are famous that I was talking to who wanted to know how they can help. One actually said, "Teach us what we need to know." Okay, I actually went ahead and read the entire post because I thought I was only going to read the first couple lines, but I couldn't do it. I mean, you just have to read the entire thing. Yeah, I can relate to the conversations, and I'll probably do a video soon. I was going to do a live stream, but had a stressful moment a couple days ago, so I had to just get over that. That's why I wasn't able to put out videos the way I wanted to this week. I still have a list, so don't worry, content's coming. And don't worry, it was a stressful situation. It had nothing really to do with what's going on now, like in terms of racism or anything like that, or Black Lives Matter. It was just something personal in regards to my roommates and I's living situation, but we got it straightened out. But I'll talk to you all about that in another video. But yeah, I know when it comes to these protests, doing research and whatnot, and just the number of cases where I've seen, I guess you could say, outsiders of the community, where there will be a protest going on in a certain city or whatever the situation is, but then there's like a shady car that pops up, or a person who, and I hate to sound stereotypical, but I really saying what was said in these articles and videos I've seen online, people who don't look like they belong, people who have been paying rioters, people who have been planting bricks and weapons and other things like that. So that's the thing when it comes down to it. A lot of these protests start off peaceful, but then there are a few people who, I guess you could say, knock over that first domino. They start throwing things, they start breaking, and then the looting all begins. So I will say that in some cases, it's not the protesters who are the ones causing a ruckus. It's those who are enticed to, I guess you could say, commence the terror in those situations. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how about this time last week, it seemed like, I remember it was Saturday or Sunday. It was right before the major news networks were saying cities around the country were initiating curfews, where the riots started in Minneapolis, but then they slowly began to pop up all over the country, and then I believe in China as well. And it got scary for a minute, like there to me there were different levels to the George Floyd, Ahmaud, and Breonna, and the list goes on. And Amy Cooper, I believe, the white woman that called the cops on the black bird watcher who just said, "Hey, put your dog on a leash." It got to the fact of, man, being black, afraid to even go out of my front door. Then it became, holy crap, these riots are popping up. How do I know something is going to just pop up in my city? And it did. There was a peaceful protest Sunday. I don't even call it a protest. It felt like a community gathering, prayer. A bunch of churches came together with the community, or praying, singing. And then when it got dark, I found out on Monday that there were some individuals who I believe were black. I saw a news report. They got 3 of the 6, I believe, who were shooting at police. And then that initiated a Lynchburg curfew, which is over now. I mean, I'm not making light of the situation, but even with the curfew, it didn't really matter because not really anything was open late at night. I think the curfew was from like 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. But most stores were pretty much closed by 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. anyway. But yeah, I mean, the riots and all, I pray for the family. The fact that, they wouldn't want George Floyd's death to be like, the catalyst for these riots and all. But it's like people have had enough, when peaceful protesting, kneeling was looked at with a side eye and condemned. Now it came down to riots happening, and now people want that to stop. So, hey, make up your mind. Now, I'm not condoning riots or looting in any situation, just to put that out there. But it's just sometimes when you reach that breaking point, sometimes things break. But, I hope everybody stays safe out there. If you go to protest, please be careful. In the midst of COVID and, just these people starting trouble. But overall, I want to say the past couple of days, I've seen some peaceful protests, more peace than rioting. I will say that. But like I said, make sure that you check out the full article. I will leave the link below. And yeah, I was really, I think my favorite line of Tyler Perry's post was, I want you to know that while some of us are protesting out there, others of us have the gift of being able to pick up the phone and go straight to the people that have the power with the stroke of a pen to affect change. And that's the important thing, because obviously not all of us can pick up a phone and, call like a senator or a mayor or a congressman. Sometimes, it's about doing all you can with what you got, even if it's not, even if it's like donating $2 to a foundation or $5 or whatever, like all of that helps. I mean, thank goodness. My videos are probably going to be a bit slower this week because of the weekend, because eBay, I've been blessed. I've been working my butt off, but I got a lot of things that sold. And once I get everything ready for shipping and, print out the shipping labels and deduct those costs and all that good stuff, because there's always a cost when you make money. I want to put aside some, a part of my eBay earnings. And thankfully, a lot of people have been very great about posting links to different foundations and whatnot. I want to try to put like, a few dollars and maybe like 5 different foundations, and I believe there are a lot of petitions you can sign and phone calls you can make to different, offices in these situations. So sometimes even if you can't donate money, donating your time when it comes to these petitions or whatever it is you can sign, or even beyond that, having a conversation, even if it's just, I've had a lot of white friends hit me up in the past week. I will say, I would be like, okay, what's going on? But then it got to the point where I understood why they were like Tyler was saying. It's been a week of hard hitting, high level conversations with people who don't look like me. And as I was saying before, that's honestly why I haven't been on my channel posting videos nonstop like usual, because of the fact that I've just been spending more time having conversations with people, So when it comes to protesting, I think somebody I watched a video on said it best yesterday. If you feel led to go, then definitely go, but just be safe, and everything like that. Because sometimes not everyone can go protest. Sometimes like it's just making those phone calls, signing those petitions, donating money. It reminds me of like when I was at Liberty And, you know, when it came to missions trips, not everyone is called to go into the missions field, like overseas to countries that don't have a lot of Christian influence. Sometimes you can just do other things by donating to those who are going on those trips, or, you know, finding another way to spread the gospel. Same thing with this when it comes to protesting. Not everyone goes out to protest, but there's always something we can do to do our part. And collectively, I just hope that and when I say by the end of this, I don't want to make it seem like, you know, once things calm down, because I feel like if nothing else, this is definitely stuck to the ribs of America when it comes to the attention of, hey, we need change. That's what it boils down to. As long as we can see some real change, rather than this being something that's a trending topic for a couple of weeks and then dies off, then I think it was a success. I really do hope that there's some real change rather than a hashtag or, you know, some along those lines. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, I'll probably do a video kind of like touching base within the next couple of days here, just saying, like, you know, just kind of talking about what's been going on with me ever since the whole George Floyd thing. Kind of like after Kobe died. Remember, I did a video on that. Like, that really just shook me. And now with George Floyd, just seeing how his name is being remembered right now. And I'll end the video on this. It's just wild to think we're literally, and I know I said this several times with friends of mine over the years, like, the things that are happening now going in history books. It's just insane. But hopefully real change happens by the end of that. That's the real message I want to say here. But with that being said, make sure, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. That way you are up to date when I post new content to the channel. Also, as I said before, there are links to my social media below. Make sure you follow me on those. And I will leave a link to this article in the top comment. Also, shout out to my Patreon members over there on Patreon. We got a couple new members. I will personally hit you up later today. Thank you for joining in. And with that being said, if you would like to make a donation to the channel, which is not mandatory, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.